Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. It's been a few days. How have you been? I've not been uploading very much because I've been studying for my January exams, which are looking hella nasty. Oh my goodness. I got back from the library today at midnight. Midnight, that's just not okay. But anyway, I got home, I looked on my PC and I was like, hold on. Lee Ross, Associate Project Director for Infinite Warfare Zombies and by association Zombies in Spaceland, has done a little bit of an interview with Mashable. Although it's not really an interview. It's actually, and this is the interesting thing, a little bit of a sort of chit-chat just about the game as they play. Now, Lee has done multiple of these in the past. This is nothing new, and the guy is an absolute master of giving just the most sort of refined and straightforward PR answers to questions that you could possibly imagine. He's constantly going on about, oh, I'm glad you asked that. The Afterlife Arcade is a new feature in Zombies in Spaceland, featuring soul tokens that allow you to revive yourselves if you go down, enter the arcade, and then you can come back into the map, etc., etc. He's absolutely full of all those one-liners, two-liners, three-liners, whole paragraphs, the whole shebang. But in this interview, he does something that he hasn't really necessarily done much of in the past, and that's that he deviates a little bit and talks about a couple of things that are extremely pertinent to your interests, I'm sure. So today, we are going to be talking about all of Lee Ross's interesting answers in this little chit-chat with Mashable. The first thing I want to say, though, before I jump into it, is that Mashable have just done themselves a disservice here, to be honest, because as much as they've secured a cool little interview with Lee Ross, which is a rare thing, really, not a lot of websites have really had much hands-on time with him to talk about the game and things like that since release, in my opinion, at least from what I have seen, but they're sitting down with him and the audio quality is so bad. Oh my goodness me. And you just sort of compare their setup to like other gaming websites and other tech websites and stuff like that, and I'm just sort of wondering what they're doing. They're prehistoric by comparison. Anyway, I don't want to rant about that for too long, but seriously, Mashable, get it together. You're making yourselves look silly. So, he is asked about the fact that the main quest Easter egg has been completed, right? And his response is as follows. Yes, there are definitely secrets left. We bury stuff deeper than people can even imagine. Now, have we figured out the main quest in the map? People have indeed. But we also want to build things where maybe you get something in this map and you got to keep it because you might need it later. Which pretty much straight out of the gates confirms that there is a cross-map Easter egg in Infinite Warfare Zombies. They are pulling a sort of Black Ops 3 Treyarch in a sense, and they're saying, okay, you're going to complete the Easter egg in this map. You're then going to, most likely, complete the Easter eggs in the first 3 DLCs, and then there'll be some grand finale, you'll get to DLC 4, you'll use this thing that you have collected, which, by the way, is the piece of soul key that you get at the end of the Zombies in Spaceland Easter egg. You'll use that alongside whatever else it is that you're going to collect in the future DLC, in the future eras that we visit, whether we're going to, like, a sort of Western theme, or maybe some kind of actual in-space theme, maybe like the 90s, maybe the 60s, 50s, whatever decade they're going to go to or whatever, we're going to collect items and use them for some grand finale, most likely. It's also interesting that he says that there are definitely secrets left, because we've pretty much solved most of the things that we've been investigating, that we've been curious about. And Lee does say there are always going to be people that will data mine and kind of get under the hood and just figure things out that way, which has been happening a lot in the community recently, but he sort of insinuates that despite that, there's more, which is interesting. Another really cool thing that Lee says is related to a tweet that he sent out a couple of days ago, okay? He basically tweeted out and said, guys, community, give me your best ideas for Fate and Fortune cards in Infinite Warfare Zombies. Just give me those ideas. And the, I guess, subtle hint that he was giving us is that our ideas might, if we're lucky, and if the ideas are up to par, end up with those Fate and Fortune cards making their way officially into Infinite Warfare Zombies. So we had people suggesting all sorts of crazy stuff on Twitter, and Lee actually acknowledged that in the interview here, and he said, we've seen some really great stuff, really exciting stuff. There's a really good chance that some of the stuff that you've seen on that post will end up making it into the game at some point. Keep the ideas coming, please let us know. And then he goes on to say something which reinforces an idea that I've seen across all of the Infinite Warfare Zombies devs that I have communicated with, and that I have seen communicating outwardly with the community in recent weeks and months, really. Lee says that he wants to reach out to the community as much as possible, and to make sure the experience is not only exciting for the devs at Infinity Ward, but also for the community at large. I've just got to give him a quick round of applause. It's just got to be done. This constant focus on the community's ideas and desires and dreams and hopes and frustrations being sorted out and fixed and sort of, I guess, combined with the current game at large into something that is even greater, some better product, is just cool to me. And it's really not something that we've ever seen with Treyarch. And I made a video in the past talking about the fact that Infinity Ward are doing something amazing in giving us this opportunity to interface with them, and they're staying with it, and I stand by what I said. It's really, really cool to see, so keep it up, guys. One of the most interesting questions that Lee is asked is towards the end of the interview, and the guy that is doing the interview with him, doing the talking with him, basically looks at the chat on the live stream and goes, "Oh, wow, there's a lot of people asking if there is an end cutscene," and Lee says, what would be the fun in telling them that? So he's trolled us a little bit there, which is understandable, because if he were to just give away all his secrets, he wouldn't really be much of an associate project director, right? He'd just be leaking his own damn story. So he's not going to give it to us that easily, but he does say, "I can safely say that we have a very special treat in store for players that come back to Zombies in Spaceland." And you then hear this strange silence, and a few moments pass. You hear some gears turning in the interviewer's head, and he then says, "That come back to it?" And Lee just responds with the word, "Exactly." So, my man, Lee Ross, the man with the plan. I've said it before, I'm saying it again. He really does have a plan, and his plan is that I assume we're going to go through the maps, we're going to do all the Easter eggs, we're going to complete some grand finale Easter egg towards the end, or something along those lines at least, and then something might unlock in Zombies in Spaceland. Or there might be some patch into Zombies in Spaceland that allows you to do something new. Or maybe midway through the DLC cycle, we'll come back to this map and they'll have updated it even further. Who knows where they're going to go with this? But honestly, to me, this absolutely screams it, Super Easter egg. And before I go any further, I need to make one thing clear. When I say Super Easter egg, I'm not referring to the kind of Treyarch style where they basically don't give us one. But what I mean is that it seems like what could happen here, what is certainly feasible with the evidence to hand, is that we may have a reason to come back to this map. He does say he's got a very special treat in store for players that come back to Zombies in Spaceland. So that's going to be after doing something else. Surely, going back to Zombies in Spaceland is going to yield some special result, which, in my opinion, is pretty damn awesome. The final thing he says is a response to the question, "Can you tease anything?" And he says, "We certainly have things in the pipeline. Please stay tuned. It won't be long before you'll see the announcement that will answer a lot of questions people have been asking me on Twitter and Reddit. Lots more coming, but not going to be sharing that stuff today." So, Lee has already actually told us when DLC1 is going to be releasing. I have a whole video on that. It's in the description. It's in the corner of the screen right now. Feel free to go watch it. I think it was a bit of a slip up on his part because he has since deleted that information from his profile, and so you can only see it in the videos people have made about it, such as my video that is linked, like I said, down below. But I think that it's interesting that he says that the announcement that is coming soon will clear up a lot of the questions that people have been asking. Is that announcement going to give us an idea not only of where we're going in the future, probably because it's going to be a DLC announcement, but also, is it going to tell us about how exactly the characters get from Zombies in Spaceland to their new location? I guess the extension to my question here is the announcement going to in some way wrap up the outro cutscene for this map? Is it going to be a sort of outro, but then also progression into an intro for the next map that we may also well see before the release of it. Who knows? Very interested to find out. I'm going to be focusing like absolutely bonkers on my exams for the next rough sort of 45 days or so. So don't worry, the DLC comes out after that period, so you won't be missing any content from me. I will be covering that map pack extensively on my channel. Very much looking forward to it. I've been MrRoflWaffles. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. I'm actually giving away a PS4 right now with Activision. They've provided one for me to give away, so if you want to go win it, links in the description down below, and my other Christmas giveaway is still going on. Check your YouTube messages because you might have won a code for a game, or a poster, or a t-shirt, or something, so definitely go check, and I'll see you very soon in another Zombies video. Bye-bye.